Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
Footage has been released of a Diddy party that he threw for Meek Mill's birthday in 2014, and it has some pretty disturbing details. Now, right after this, Meek went off on X/Twitter, so I'll give you a quick rundown of the article, and then I'll show you what he said. So this party featured women dancing in masks, sushi served on a naked model, and Diddy paid $25K for this mansion just for that night. The property manager said that there were broken bottles, used condoms, bloodstained sheets, and even white powder residue. He described the cleanup as disgusting. He also said that Diddy's team requested double-sided locks on the bedroom doors and to be left unlocked for the guests' arrival, with 2 key sets to be given to Diddy and no one else. Requesting new locks, double-sided locks for bedrooms, and the only person that has the keys is Diddy is absolutely crazy. So Meek tweeted going off on these articles saying that it wasn't even a puff party, it was weak stories. He started asking ChatGPT who owns all of these news sources, and he said none of them are American. He said that there's a lot of negativity. He said, look at this Vibe magazine, there's a video of nothing. He said that he got too powerful, so the media is targeting him. I didn't understand a lot of the things he was saying, but it looks like he felt the need to defend himself.
Yeah, this looks like damage control if I ever seen it. With all the accusations against Diddy, he's going to sit there and say he wishes him well. I think anyone who is this close to Diddy likely knew exactly whether or not these accusations have weight to him. I think this dude might just be digging himself into a hole that he's not going to be able to dig out of.
Time-lapse cameras were used in a standard first-grade classroom, and several hyperactive children may be noted, especially the boy in the immediate foreground. "90 days after, the regular cool white fluorescent tubes were replaced with the new type full spectrum fluorescent tubes with radiation shields, there was a marked improvement noted, and the extremely hyperactive boy has voluntarily moved up to the front row. He raises his hand for recognition and is now up at the blackboard taking part in classroom activities. Prior to the time that this new lighting was installed, this particular boy had an extreme learning disability problem, but quickly learned to read within 90 days after the new lights were installed. There was further noted a general average improvement in both the behavior and academic achievement of the entire class. There are, however, other factors that must also be considered. The implications of the biological effects of light and radiation, as observed through time-lapse photography, are obvious.
I can't help but feel like, what's the point? We know that light affects the mood and productivity of all people. Change the light source and you can drastically alter someone's entire experience inside of a building. I saw this firsthand working maintenance for nursing homes where they would install certain types of lights because it would improve the mood of the residents. I say what's the point because we've known about this clearly for over 50 plus years and it's hardly utilized. They spent all this money on all these studies only to essentially toss the information in a trash can.
Wow. What a weird thing to happen 2 months before a new president takes over who's been appointed by the people to get peace. Putin said if we did something like this, it could result in nuclear war. So this is not something regular people that are on the left or the right want. But the people in charge of the U.S. right now knew that and did this anyway. This very well could have meant nuclear war. Holy shit. Do you get it? Who's in control? And you know it's not Biden, bro. Don't play me. This is what we mean by swamp. Somebody else is running this country. And it looks like they're getting desperate. It's kind of like the babysitter was left to take care of the kids, and she's been actually withdrawing money out of all of their bank accounts and funding random crap so that her and her boyfriend can cook meth and get rich and stuff like that. And mommy and daddy are on the way home, and she just found out they're on the way home, and there's video evidence of everything that she's done, and everybody's about to find out. So now she's screaming at the neighbors, trying to get them to like catch our house on fire. And the kids are looking out the window going, hey, please don't respond to her. Mom and daddy are going to be home. Don't nuke us. Because we know what's going on, but somebody else is in control of this country, dude. The people are about to get back in control of it and to get some accountability, and they want to stop that. Daddy is coming home. Trump is the face, but we're daddy. If you want your social media to blow up, shoot me a DM. I'd love to coach you. Let's see if it's a good fit.
Now, I don't want to get political, But is it just me, or does it seem like the current administration is doing everything they can to try to throw us into World War III before the next administration could get in there and try to calm things down? It is clearly obvious to me. They want to start something that can't be easily stopped, so even a president who actually legitimately wants peace will have no choice but to keep the war machine going. Hey, if you're looking for a reason to subscribe, I post 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And if you're looking to buy a shirt, you can go to berry-stepp.com.
War, what is it good for? I believe that was Nickelback who said that first. Well, one thing it's good for is hiding money, because the Pentagon has just failed its 7th audit in a row, with almost $1 trillion missing. Whoops! On that note, it seems like Joe Biden and Kamala are on a mission to speedrun World War III before they are out of office. You have Biden authorizing the use of U.S.-supplied long-range missiles for deeper strikes inside Russia. And wouldn't you know it, Britain and France also just greenlit the exact same policy, allowing the use of Storm Shadow missiles from Ukraine to strike deep inside Russia. This is, of course, the day after Putin has laid out an ultimatum to German Chancellor, which said new territorial realities must be accepted by NATO if there's ever going to be any peace talks. Oh, and the IDF has battery artillery platoons deep inside Lebanon. They are trying to start this war before the new year, fam. Stay safe.
I mean, come on. If it's not obvious what's going on here, you just don't want to see it. I just hope that Putin holds off on firing the nukes until January. I feel like he's looking for a way to dial things down. He keeps giving ultimatums and saying, I won't escalate if you do not do this, or I won't escalate if you do not do that. But then we seem to be using his warnings or ultimatums as a roadmap for what to do next. I've never been this worried about what was going to happen if things continue to escalate. I've never been this worried about the incompetence of the people in charge and the effect that their decisions could have on our daily lives. It's like they forgot they live here too.
This man controls the entire world. Many people know about the Pope, but what if he's not the only Pope? Rumor has it that there are 3 popes in existence. The White Pope, which everyone knows, the Black Pope, and the Gray Pope, each trumping each other in terms of power. The White Pope is the leader of the Vatican Church, and the Black Pope is the leader of the Society of Jesuits. However, when it comes to the Gray Pope, it is a whole different story. Well, you see, the Gray Pope, or more commonly known as Pepe Orsini, is the latest heir from a long bloodline of black nobility that are the movers and shakers behind world control, with their dynasty going way back to even Babylonian times. Today, they are the world's most powerful family, heading the Illuminati, with even the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers reporting to them, but not many people know that.
This is news to me. I'll be honest, I have a bias. I tend to lean toward believing whenever I hear something suspicious about the Catholic Church, just simply because of all the evil that they've been proven to be involved in. But I've never heard of this, so I don't know if it's true or not. But what exactly is this bloodline that he descended from, I wonder? And what organization does he sit at the head of if he's this elite with decision-making capabilities? I'm going to have to dig into this one and see what it's all about.
There is no doubt in my mind this would have been the fate of the United States if something had gone differently last week. The UK is now saying they are going to imprison any citizen that views what the government deems to be far-right propaganda online for up to 15 years. I have so many questions about this, not the least of which is, can you even control what comes up in your algorithm? If something just happens to pop up in your feed, are you doomed to spend more than a dozen years in federal prison?
Right to jail, right away.
Who gets to determine what far-right propaganda is? Because let's be honest, by modern UK standards, every single thing J.K. Rowling posts on X is probably considered far-right propaganda. And is enforcement anything like what we've already seen regarding social media hate speech and misinformation laws? Because I have a pretty strong feeling I know exactly how extreme this is going to get in a very short period of time. Maybe it's time for the West to make Orwell fiction again. You guys okay across the pond? Blink twice if you need help.
I know that we've got some UK viewers. Is this something that's actually happening right now, or is this just something they're talking about and acting? This is absolutely crazy. How in the world do you justify locking somebody up for 15 years over a photo that appears on their Facebook feed that they themselves didn't even post. The UK is starting to sound a little bit like North Korea. I'm certain a lot of the topics that we cover here on this channel are probably considered to be far right. Anything they don't want talked about gets given that label. I hope that I don't lose all my UK viewers because you guys are awesome. I really enjoy talking to you guys. Hopefully this isn't really happening. Hopefully it doesn't start happening. But if it does, I'll keep shining a light on it where I can.
1985, newborn millennials had to follow a schedule of just a handful of vaccines. Today, a child following the recommended vaccine schedule will receive up to 70 shots by the time they turn 18, including 27 before he or she turns 2, and as many as 6 shots in a single visit. Are all these shots producing healthier kids? According to the data, no. Are we allowed to even ask? Also, no. Some parents who've asked too many questions about the recommended vaccine schedule can find themselves reported to Child Protection Services, or they will get kicked out of their pediatrician's office for not being compliant. This is America, the land of the free. Parents are being held hostage. They did not sign up to co-parent with the government. We want a divorce.
And you know, a lot of these vaccines are to keep you from getting things that aren't even an issue anymore. And if you get an injury from one of these things, the entire industry goes into overdrive in an attempt to gaslight you into believing that you're crazy. I know this from personal experience. I know that we need some vaccines, but I saw an ad yesterday for a shingles shot. I've had shingles. All it does is make you have a small painful rash for a few days. Why did they develop a vaccine for that? We're making vaccines now for things that are minor inconveniences? It can't be the answer to every problem.
The Shenandoah was the first rigid airship to moor to a floating mast, such as the U.S. Navy devised and installed on the tanker Patoka. Another of her pioneering ventures was a 9,000-mile trip in the fall of 1924 around the periphery of the United States by way of mooring masts at Fort Worth, Texas, San Diego, California, and Fort Lewis, Washington. The Graf Zeppelin was the first to be put in service September 1928. The Graf didn't use gasoline. Instead, her 5 Maybach engines were driven by Blau gas, a hydrocarbon fuel gas of about the same density as air, with time out in 1929 for a world cruise, not just as a stunt, but with a payload of 6,000 pounds in passengers, mail, and baggage. Lakehurst to Friedrichshafen. To Tokyo. To Los Angeles. And back to Lakehurst. Here's the record. This outstanding record achieved with no casualties, not even an injury, or air sickness. Comfort is one of the rigid airship's greatest contributions. Accommodations would include staterooms, promenade decks, lounges, library, restaurant, and bar. The unique...
Why did they take this from us? That looks like such a better way to travel than an airplane. And you could fit over 1,000 people on there versus the 100 or so that can fit on a small plane. Then you lose the fuel costs. It's safer than a plane. It's more comfortable. I tell you, seeing this puts things in perspective for me. That was such a superior way to travel. It would take something like the Hindenburg to sway the public into giving that up. Makes me wonder if that whole thing was planned. Has that ever been investigated?
I'm about to say something crazy, but I want y'all to hear me out. Apparently, Mary was a virgin who gave birth to Jesus. Okay. Apparently, Mary's mother was not a virgin, but was an older woman who was not meant to be able to give birth, who gave birth to Mary without a male through the same process of giving birth, apparently. And this process is what we call parthenogenesis, Greek word that quite literally means virgin birth. Partheno means virgin, Genesis means birth. That's how we get virgin birth. From a scientific standpoint, all it means is that a woman fertilized an egg without a male. But what is important is that because she fertilized this egg without a male, she is quite literally birthing a version of herself, which is not an exact replica technically, but it's her DNA put back together in a different way, but still 100% of her DNA. Which is why when a woman produces by way of parthenogenesis, she can only reproduce XX chromosomes. Meaning, a woman who has a virgin birth can only give birth to a woman. Which brings me to my final question. If Jesus is real, how is he a man?
I think she's failing to take into consideration that she's working off of a hypothetical when she says if a woman had a virgin birth, it would definitely be a female. Science may think that with the evidence that they have, but until they have someone actually experience it, someone that they can study, someone whose child they can study, there's no way that we'll know for sure. All we can do is speculate. She's also failing to take into account that Jesus was only part Mary, and the other half I would imagine was handcrafted by God, so it could have any attributes he wanted it to have, right?
That in America we are fed propaganda, and if you want to know what's happening in the world, go outside of the U.S. media, because it's owned by 4 corporations. One of them is this one. And you know what? Go outside of the country to find out what's going on in our own country, because it's frightening. It's frightening. And if you don't...
we're being brainwashed as a whole country. I think not.
I think democracy is threatened in a way it hasn't been in 200 years, and if America doesn't stand up, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, and here's the trouble.
First of all, I cannot stand Rosie O'Donnell. Just wanted to set the record straight on that. And she's just as guilty as the rest of the media with spreading propaganda. She was literally a host on The View. You don't get much more mainstream narrative than that show. That being said, if that really is true, and that was one of the last things that she said on air before leaving the show, I think it's pretty obvious what got her taken off the air.
So I'm looking at this weather map of what this bomb cyclone's about to do, and I just have a weird feeling something's not right. So I looked into it. So like, for example, like this is the most current drought map that we have. And as you can see, there's a lot of abnormally dry areas, particularly in California and Nevada, and some moderate drought. Well, it just so happens in those areas, that's where they're mining for the white gold. And you gotta have water to mine for that white gold. Then I noticed this company had a lot going on in between Oregon and Nevada. And this so happens to be on native land. And you know a certain group of people are not happy about it. Now what's crazy about this storm is not only is there going to be a ton of water coming, it looks like it's going to mess up Oregon and California pretty bad. And there's already been some bipartisan infrastructure laws put in place looking for the goodies in Oregon. I mean, hey, call it a coincidence. What do I know? But it sure would make a lot of sense.
Well, it looks like we're about to see yet another government land grab. And knowing after the fact the response from FEMA during Helene, you know there likely ain't no good help coming. So you might want to think about evacuating if you live in those areas. We just watched how horrible the response was from our government. Get somewhere safe. With all that lithium under y'all's feet, there's no telling what kind of shenanigans are about to take place when that storm hits.
So you guys are private investigators who have come to my private home asking about influencers? This is very uncomfortable, you guys.
I don't know why. I'll explain.
No, you're at my home.
Okay, so you don't want to talk to us then?
Have I broken some law?
Absolutely not.
And you have the thin blue. This is frightening. I think Can you guys step away from my home?
Well, we're in a public street, so the answer is no. But I'm not, listen, I'm really not trying to give you a hard time.
Why are you here? What do you mean? You're showing up at my house.
We're very nice and respectful, and we will be. I just have two quick questions for you, and if you want to be interested in it, great. If not, I'll have a nice day. We're not...
What is this? This is odd.
So...
You have to admit this is very weird.
It always is, and people always ask us the same questions. I'm happy to explain it to you. So
What?
Very simply, we were just hired to speak to a few people that do, have a lot of followers, stuff like that, on different platforms.
What, is this about the Diddy stuff I report on?
Somewhat, yes. Not necessarily Diddy stuff, but, people are involved and just stuff like that. So basically, a very simple question is are you paid to influence that's those stories like that in any direction?
No, not at all.
That's all we wanted to know. Because if the companies, they're looking into people who are...
Are you guys going to pay me for this visit? Like, this is frightening. Like, I'm super... You have to admit, if I came to your house, and, like, I thought this was a joke. I thought I have a friend coming over business right now. Like, this is extremely weird for me. I have 100,000 followers. I'm not making any money.
That's one of the reasons why we're here, and that's the question that we're asking. If someone contacts you, say, in the last 6 months, and is paying you to influence in a certain way.
No.
Either one way.
Is it illegal if somebody would have?
So the answer is no.
Okay, I wish somebody would have. I'd love to be making real money off this.
Let me talk for 2 seconds. I'll explain to me. Try to make you feel better.
I mean, this is terrifying.
Very simply, if somebody was paying you,
right?
The company we work for were just asking that question.
Right.
If somebody was, they would just be willing to possibly offer you money to know who and see what's going on.
Well, they're paying me $1 million. Will you guys give me $2 million? I'm joking. But seriously, this is very odd, you guys. You guys came to my house. It makes me feel slightly good that maybe I'm getting some notoriety for this, but this is crazy.
So again, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So apparently there's tons of things influencing going around.
Okay.
A huge percentage of it is all bots, not real.
Interesting. No, I'm real. Anything I report on about Diddy is coming from what other influencers, what news articles, and I'm a comedian. I put my spin on it, but nobody is paying me to do that.
I've seen it and I like it.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's very simple that if it was the fact that somebody was paying you,
right,
people who were getting some negative, talk,
would be interested in
finding that out and possibly going action either against that person,
right?
Or
am I at any danger for doing this?
Zero. The only time you'd ever have any liability is if you said, "I know for a fact this person raped it."
No, no. All of I'm satire. I'm a comedian.
And you say allegedly.
I always say, wow. I'm shocked that this is. I've never had fans come visit me. I'm just filming you guys because this freaked me out.
I'll tell you why. Because everything you do is real. And so many things are just bots.
Right.
So we got a list of about 15 people.
Interesting.
That only post themselves.
Wow.
And we're just trying to find out if people are paying for the story to be pushed.
Got it.
Listen, everybody talks about it.
Okay.
I'm not an influencer whatsoever.
Right.
Guess what? Me and my friends talk about it once in a while.
Right.
Oh, you got
right, and I understand I'm not looking to spread misinformation, and TikTok docks you very quickly. If I've had videos of like, oh, that sounds threatening or this and that, but... Well, can I get your guys' information just so if I have something that comes up, I can contact you guys?
So to be honest,
no,
we can't give out a company because they don't want to be linked to anybody.
Got it.
My name is Robert James.
Okay, Robert.
Peter Deegan.
Okay, cool. This is crazy.
Agreed. And again, we were going to sit out here.
No, that's fine. Yeah, it's my cat Crunchy. I hope my wife is impressed. I mean, I just hope I'm trying to be a successful comedian. I would love, but it is freaky that you guys come to my back door. This is kind of crazy.
I don't know where the front door is.
I mean, I know, but even on my house, even though you guys are able to just find me is crazy. I mean, I guess it's not.
Well, just Google anybody's name.
I guess I just didn't expect anybody was looking for me at all. So.
No, that's all. So
okay.
So apparently you're doing something right because you're getting at least.
Yeah, because you guys are visiting me. I wish you were two hot ladies visiting me. No, you guys are pretty yourselves.
I apologize.
Okay, well, thank you guys very much for. Is that it?
No, that's all.
All right.
If you're like so and so's paying me.
Oh right.
Money, we can talk.
No, and I'm also too. I'm a truth seeker, so I couldn't be paid off to have somebody having me. You know, it depends how much money, I guess, my wife, would,
be honest,
yeah.
The last few we've talked to,
everybody's
just doing what they want. They do it because they love it.
They enjoy it. And honestly, it's getting people to pay attention. So on TikTok, if people are paying attention, if I'm doing I did a no Diddy music video. Nobody cared about that. But if I get on and talk about something.
You're saying not bad.
Hey, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Well, okay. I appreciate you guys coming by. This is odd, but maybe I'm on to something.
Again,
okay.
If you are getting paid, then maybe
we just want to know by who and if it was
interesting.
our client,
interesting.
They would look to pay for you.
Okay.
That's all.
Interesting.
Very simple.
Well, contact me again if there's some real money to be made, because I need to make it. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. This is crazy. Take care. No, it's okay. It's okay.
I'll save you guys some time if you're watching, because you don't want to show up unannounced at my house. Nobody's paying me nothing either. Now, I can't help but wonder if Diddy is the responsible party for sending these two fellows around questioning folks. Is he sending these two private detectives to intimidate people for talking crap about him on TikTok? And then these guys just decided to play it cool this time because the dude pulled his phone out and started recording them? That would be pretty crazy. I just heard it reported that he was supposedly sneaking around the recorded calls and stuff in the prison to intimidate witnesses. That's just something I heard. This sounds like some petty stuff he would do. I'm not making an accusation though, just to clarify. Apparently that's necessary when talking about this case. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out berry-stepp.com if you'd like to order yourself a shirt or a hat or a hoodie. And don't forget to post your photos of your merch over in the Discord to get your photo in a video. But with all that out of the way, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.